so I didn't get nearly as much activity as I expected in this area, and we're late enough in the season where I just want to move along and set up somewhere else. So we made kind of a mock licking branch just out of this tree, put some more scent down, and we're going to move this rope a little further up this tree line. So we'll see what we find. So I haven't had much luck with this camera that I just took down here. There is a bedding area about 200 yards from here that I know I bumped bucks out of. So we're gonna go try to find a place to set up a scrape down there and just see what we see. But I saw a couple does here, a few fawns, but just nothing really that I wanted to see. So we're gonna set this up somewhere else and see how we do. I've moved one camera, set up another scrape, another 2 scrapes, going down to my last spot on this piece, and I'm gonna just see what it looks like, see if we've had any real activity that maybe the camera's missed, things like that. So refresh it with some scent, just kind of go from there. I gotta go back to the house and do some knock tuning. As of the day I'm filming this video, the 20th, we are exactly 1 week away from opening day, and I want to just make sure all my broadheads are flying good, all my arrows are good, and we're not going to have any issues opening day, because that is the biggest bummer when you think you're all ready to go and you're not. So let's go set up this scrape, or refresh it at the very least, then we're going to go back and do a little bit of knock tuning. So let's go. Okay, that does it for that part of today's adventure. So that's 3 scrapes, refreshed, reset, or cameras moved. So I'm hopeful that that's going to get us some good results. But you know, again, this time of year, it's really tough to tell where these deer are going to be. You know, they're just moving around a lot. They're, you know, getting into new ranges, different things like that. So I'm just trying to maximize my opportunities to get one on camera, basically. Because, like I said, with a week left to go, I need as much knowledge as I can get. Extremely common broadhead, but extremely effective. These create great blood trails, and they're just super reliable. But I did want to try out something different, because although mega meats are super reliable, they're still mechanical, and the more parts you have on something to fail, the more chance there is of failure, right? So I wanted to try something more simple. So I picked up these Magnus Stinger buzz cuts right here, and so far I've got them. They fly pretty good, but just not quite as accurate as my bow now, or as my field tips. My bow is shooting bullet holes in paper, so I really don't want to mess with it. Sometimes if your bow's not perfect and your broadheads aren't flying right, you can move the rest up, down, left, right, which used to be my first go-to whenever I was broadhead tuning, but anymore I always try to knock tune once I get darts or bullet holes in my paper, right? Because that way I'm not adjusting or messing with the bow at all, and it's just a more consistent practice. Basically all you're doing is getting the spine aligned properly. So every arrow has a spine, right? 300 spine are what these are. But there's also a dynamic spine, which is when it's flexing, right? And there's always a weak spot in the arrow where the carbon comes together, right? Sometimes in like smaller arrows, like micro diameter arrows, you don't see that, but with these, you certainly do. So there's a couple ways you can knock tune, right? You can like bend the arrow and find the weak point there. A lot of like fly fishermen do this when they build rods, right? But what I like to do is shoot them. If it's off a little bit, spin it, off a little bit, spin it again until I get it shooting consistently with my field tips. So we're gonna do that now. Now I'm not gonna shoot any field tips because I already know that this bow is sighted in just about perfectly. So I'm just going to get this, basically get these flying so they're hitting right where I'm aiming, right? And we're just gonna go from there. The goal is not to move the sight because I want these shooting the exact same as my field tips. So let's head out and give it a shot. So as you can see, this one looks just about perfect. So I'll probably shoot this one more time and just see how it goes, but I think we're about good on this one. This one, however, is a little low and a touch to the right. So we're gonna twist this a little bit and just see if we can get it to go group with this one. So some of you might know this, but others who are just starting out, you might not. On each knock, there's an index. I always make sure that that index is lined up facing towards me. So it's easy, you know, you can feel it with your thumb if it's low light or dark, right? But always make sure that's consistently in one spot. And I found that I get much more consistent arrow flight that way. We did a little bit of twisting with this arrow, but I've just turned it clockwise or counterclockwise. So we're gonna send it one more and just see kind of where we get it. We might have a winner right there. let's send the one that I feel good about down there and see what we get. I think we're dialed. Let's go check them out. Yep, so this is exactly what I'm looking for. Got about a 2-inch group from 35 yards. You know, at that range, any, you know, discrepancy in the group is more than likely user arrow. That's my fault, right? So they flew straight and true right out of the bow. There wasn't any fishtailing or anything like that. So I'm more than satisfied with these. Now remember, don't just go and put these in your quiver and head out on opening day expecting, you know, these to go through a deer well. Make sure you get these nice and sharp again. These still have a pretty good edge on them, so what I'm gonna do is just take them over a leather strop and just really refine that edge. If you don't have any chinks or nicks, or if you're not going through dirt and mud, you usually, in my opinion, can just go over a leather strop and get it back to that razor's edge without taking any metal off. So, but yeah, regardless, make sure you're sharpening your broadheads before you go out in the field. All right, gentlemen, so we have accomplished quite a bit today. I'm very satisfied with where we're at. You know, we set up some more scrapes, refreshed a few, got the game cameras set up where I wanted them, and then finally got some air broadheads tuned. And overall, I just feel like I'm in a good spot for next weekend when the season opens up. I'm gonna spend just a few minutes just touching up these broadheads so I know they're nice and sharp and ready for the field. And well, that's gonna do it for today's video. I appreciate all of you watching. If you like content like this, make sure you like, comment, and definitely subscribe just so you get some notifications when I upload. Good luck this coming season. My prayers are with you that you have a successful and safe hunting season, and I hope you'll do the same for me. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next video.